Hi! Now I'm going to do my review on Disenchanted and Company by Lynn Viehl. There will be some spoilers. So I originally picked this book up just because of the cover. I thought it looked interesting. It was actually in the paranormal romance section. And I know under her other name she actually did sci-fi stuff, so I thought, well, I don't know, maybe I'll give her a chance. So I have really mixed feelings on this book because some of it is really not that well written and other parts of it are really well written. So let me go through the background of it and kind of go through what I liked and didn't like. So the main character her name is Kit. That's actually just her nickname. But her real name's really hard to pronounce. Anyway, and she lives in Victoriana, which is basically America, except they lost the Revolutionary War. And it takes place a little bit after their version of World War I and is more steampunk themed. It's not like super advanced technology, but it's definitely more advanced than it would have been at the time. So I guess what I didn't really like the main character, Kit, and I think that's because the way she's set up, you gotta really give her some great character flaws, otherwise she's gonna be a Mary Sue character. Which, if you don't know what a Mary Sue is, it's basically the perfect character, nothing can be wrong with her, you know, very annoying and not realistic at all. So she has set up what is called Disenchanted and Company. It's the title of the book. It's a company where she will fix problems that other people think are caused by magic, because magic is apparently very prevalent in this world, but she doesn't believe in it because she's never actually witnessed any magic actually working. When she goes to fix a problem that's caused by magic, somebody's cursed, it's just, there's a secret hatch, or somebody was, doing something that didn't require magic, and so she goes and she does it under the guise of disenchanting something because that's what is generally accepted, but she's just a detective. She goes and she fixes these issues. And so I guess the major issues with her started off really quickly because she gets this case, this rich woman, and they're in the ton of Victoriana, the really well-to-do people. They live on what's called the Hill. It's all where the mansions are, and it's very richy rich. And so she gets a case to work there, and she's like, well, the first thing is like, oh, well, I've worked there before, and I'm thinking, okay, well, it's realistic that she's worked there before, but as she goes, throughout maybe the first 20 or 30 pages, she talks about how all these people owe her favors. She's going like, oh, well, I'll go get this from this person. After I did this for him, he owes me a favor. And that happens a lot. And she seems to have favors from the right people that she knows, or she knows key people that are necessary to help her. And it's way too easy. And it doesn't give her a chance to build any character, really, because it's kind of a very flat character, to be honest. The story's very interesting, and later she becomes more interesting, mostly because she's actually having to do stuff and not saying, oh, well, this person does me a favor and I'm so awesome and everybody else is really stupid. You get that vibe from her. And so I was going through this and I was thinking, okay, I will keep reading it. I'm gonna review it anyway. If it's terrible, it'd make for a really interesting review. And she runs into this guy. His name is Lucian Dreadmore, and of course, from the name, he's gonna be tall, dark, and sexy, and he is. He's what's called a death mage. He has been given permission from the crown to kill people with his magic. Of course, she thinks it's a bunch of hokum, and she thinks you're not. You don't have any magic. You're full of bullcrap. But he likes her for some reason, and she finds him really attractive. She doesn't really like him, but she finds him really attractive. And surprisingly, their chemistry during I I guess the different sexy scenes is really, really good. Like that made up for a lot of her lack of character for me, because at least, you know, it's like, okay, there's some gratification going on. But it, you know, again, a little bit silly, not that much development onto why they like each other. But anyway, so that's what I didn't like. Then, what's a lot more interesting is the story behind it. It turns out that Kit and Lucian and some other people are descended from what's called the Lost Ones, I believe. They are immortal creatures who will sometimes take over a host. And then if they have children while they're in that host, these children will sometimes have very special abilities. Lucian's, he actually can control people. He can even control Kit, too much to her distaste. And eventually find out the reason that Kit has never believed magic is because she's a spellbreaker. Every single time anything magical is near her, it stops working. So she eventually discovers this, and she's like, oh my god, there really is magic? Except that you would think that it would be a lot more of a big moment, and it would take her a while to get used to this. It kind of happens a little too quickly, but it's still, you know, you're thinking it throughout the entire book. It's like, of course there's magic. What, there's something wrong with you. I mean, it's super obvious that that's what is going on. Like, magic doesn't work around her. But whatever. You get into this book was written in 2 parts, and the second part, another of the Lost Ones, a really evil one, decides to take over Lucian, and Kit has to kill him. And by kill him, meaning kill Lucian, because that's the only way she can get rid of this thing, before he invades Victoriana and kills everybody with, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but he has a way to do it that's actually kind of ingenious. And so she doesn't really have time to be that annoying in the second part. She's having to do a lot of actiony things and actually running different places and finding out that she doesn't have as many resources as she might have once thought. And that's it. By the end of this book, I was almost thinking I might actually want to get the second one. There's a second one out called A Clockwork Wolf. But still, the problems with the characterization and some of the confusion, I think, in the world, because it is, you know, steampunky, and they make some assumptions that you know things, and then they throw a bunch out at you near the end of the book, and you're going, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know. I think if I find the second one in a used bookstore, I'll probably pick it up, or if it's really cheap for the Nook, I might get it. But there were enough issues with this one that I don't think I'd pay full price for it, because I don't know how much of the issues are going to be in it versus a lot of the good. This one, I would actually probably recommend, you know, I recommend reading it. Some people might not have as many issues with the characterization as I did. It's a very light, fluffy, really quick read. Like, I read this in about 8 hours, spread out over 2 days, and it's a good time. It's definitely a good time. The sex scenes are very gratifying. They're not like erotica, but they're good. And you do feel the connection between her and Lucian, except when they're like not together, kind of, because, you know, it doesn't seem to work that way in this book. Whatever. But yeah, I had a good time with it. I mean, it's a quick read. I wouldn't pay full price for it, sadly. It's not something I'm going to read again. But it was a good time. I read it in between reading A Clash of Kings and starting A Storm of Swords, because these books are huge, and so it was a good little break. So yeah, those are my thoughts and feelings. Obviously, they're very mixed. That's why I kind of meandered around. But yeah, maybe read it and form your own opinions on it. All right, thanks. Bye.